What's going on, everybody? It's Deadshot here. Today we're gonna rank the 24 powers. We're gonna rank the powers on a 1 through 10 scale today. Here's a quick tip: if you're missing Parallel Self, you need to do the quest with Barrett. He's a follower you find in the main story, and he gives you that power. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and go over the 24 powers and basically describe them to you, and then we're gonna rank them. If you're wondering how to get all 24 powers in one playthrough, I have a different video. It's on my channel, so you have to go check it out. Alright, so starting up we have Alien Reanimation. Basically, you resurrect a dead alien and it fights for you. I'll rank it a 4 because it's very situational and it's really only useful if you're fighting a horde of a bunch of alien animals. Next up is Anti-Gravity Field. So this power takes away all gravity around you and it makes your enemies basically float up. It's good for crowd control if you're in a tight spot. Also good for fighting a strong foe. You just cast it on them and then just light them up as they're floating. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Next up we have Create Vacuum. So this basically sucks all the air out in a small AoE. It does small damage to human enemies. I'm gonna give it a 4. It's really not that good. Next up we got Creator's Peace. It disarms enemies. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's good. Gives you a second to breathe. But after a few seconds, they come right back at you. Next up, we have Earthbound. So basically, this turns gravity into Earth's gravity. On any planet, you're probably never gonna use this. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10. It's situational. Maybe if you're on a low G planet and people are boost packing around. But other than that, you're not gonna use this. Now we have Elemental Pool. So this one is really good for gathering resources. Specifically minerals. If you're in a spot and you got like 3 or 4 different ones, you don't have to pull out your cutter. You can just pop this bad boy and they go straight to your inventory. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 just because it's a really good for materials, but other than that, you're not using it. Eternal Harvest, it regrows the flora that you harvest. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's good for harvesting plants you need. You can also use Quantum Essence, and then you can spam it. Grav Dash propels yourself forward, and then you get a damage boost. Give it a 5. The dash isn't that good, but the damage boost is. Gravity Wave. Launch a gravity wave basically, and then it like makes people fall down. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's good for a couple enemies. And if you use that essence, you can also spam it and just keep them down on the ground. We got Gravity Well. It creates a ball that sucks people into it, like a black hole. I'm gonna give it an 8 because it's great for a large group of enemies. And it also does small damage. You toss one grenade in there, you're good. Inner Demon, it makes a clone of the enemy and they basically fight each other. It's kind of fun if you just want to watch the enemies fight each other. I might give it a 6 because there's other powers that are better. Alright, we got Life Forced. It you basically fuck the health out of people and give it to yourself like a vampire. I'm gonna give it a 5 because it's not really that good, but if you're in a pinch and need quick health, it is good. Moon Form, it you basically turn into stone and lock yourself in place, but you get resistance to all damage. I'm gonna give it an 8 because it's great for if you're taking on a couple groups of enemies or a really strong enemy. Parallel Self, you create a clone of yourself and it fights alongside you. I give it an 8 because it's really good for a distraction. You know, it basically all the enemies target it and you can heal up, reload, do what you gotta do. It sometimes kills enemies, but it's not the best. A companion's probably better to bring with you. Particle Beam, you shoot basically a little beam of energy. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's good damage. You can use it from time to time, it's fine. Personal Atmosphere, this one I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. You get infinite oxygen, no CO2 buildup. Infinite jumping, infinite running, what's not to like? Phase Time, you basically slow down time and become the Flash. It's a 7 out of 10. Good for getting the upper hand on an enemy and you can deal some quick damage without them even getting a shot on you. Precognition, so you can basically see what someone's gonna do or what they're gonna say in dialogue. I'm gonna give it a 6 because for dialogue it's really good, but combat it really just leaves a little trail. So
it's not that good. Reactive Shield. Create a shield basically in front of you and it reflects all damage. I give it a 6 because, yeah, the shield is very nice and you can shoot through it, but Moonform, in my opinion, is better. Since Star Stuff, weird name, I don't know who names these, but you basically can detect anyone near you. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's really good for sneaking, and you can combo it with Void Form, and then you're basically the ultimate sneak master. Solar Flare, you basically emit a little fireball. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's decent damage, but there's other attacks that are better than this one.
Next up is Sunless Space. You basically become Mr. Freeze. Get a nice little ice blast and it'll knock your enemies down. Give you plenty of time to heal and do some damage. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Supernova. You basically emit a giant explosion. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's good for crowd control and low level enemies, but against high levels it doesn't really do too much. Finally, we got Void Form. You basically become invisible. I mean, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's good for sneaking, and it gets you out of trouble if you get caught doing something. But once you do something, it takes you out of Void Form. So for combat, I go for Gravity Well. It's really good for groups. If I'm gonna do defense, I love using Moon Form. Sneaking, believe it or not, I use the Scent Star stuff because I can see people where they are. If I get caught sneaking, I'll use Void Form. If I'm running around, I always use Personal Atmosphere. That's infinite running. Who doesn't love that? And if I'm foraging and I need like plants or minerals, I like using Elemental Pool because if you're in a group of different minerals, you get them all at once. But if you have the essence, you can spam it with Eternal Harvest. That's also really good. What's everybody's favorite powers? Comment down below and let me know which one's your favorite. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Deadshot out.